contact with the dog at all, other than they've seen the dogs from the other side of the fence. And they've been penned up in this space for a week and a half or so, so they're pretty comfortable. I have been feeding them. I come in, I drop the feed, I leave. I don't spend a lot of time walking around with them. I've got a couple who are a little bit more flighty than others. As far as when I come in here, they don't approach the feed. They usually wait until I leave, but they're getting pretty relaxed and comfortable, so it's time to start kind of working them with the dog. I've rushed this process before, or if I need to get my cows out in the field pretty quickly after I get them, I will kind of rush the process. I don't give them as long to settle in. I go ahead and put a dog on them. This is not an experienced dog. She is over 2 years old, but as far as having solid commands on her, I don't have that. I do have her on a long line. She's got a fair bit of eye, as you could see already now. She's kind of eyeing them up. And then when we came in, she eyed up on the one that was staring at her. I did let her go ahead and have that little bit of confrontation. She did not make an effort to bite until the calf approached her, so I was happy with that. I used the line to keep her from then either flanking around to the back side or giving ground, which she didn't offer to do, or using the line to keep her from then picking another fight. So I think she would have been happy to continue on pressing on the calf that challenged her. As soon as the calf moved off, I think she would have gone in there for a heel bite, and the line was there to help prevent doing that. So first time on these calves, I'm basically going to use myself to help this dog move them, just get them used to moving away from a dog and staying grouped and feeling comfortable. I don't expect them to fetch to me right away because they are not drawn to humans, so I would not expect them or us in one session with a very green dog to get them fetching off the fence. But I do want them to learn to respect the dog, move off of them, and that the dog will relieve pressure on them when they do that. So hopefully keeping them from developing the desire to fight a dog or challenge them further. And you definitely do want to be able to back your dog up in this situation. So I don't always think that this dog is always the most confident on the heads. She will take a front foot and she'll take a pretty tough heel bite. But she's not always super confident on the heads if something wants to face her and fight. So I'm going to be there to help her and develop her confidence in that as well. I am going to move them off this gate because apparently I did not shut that all the way. this dog does have quite a bit of cover in her. She wants to go and gather the livestock and keep them together. So a lot of what I'm doing, kind of encouraging her to stand in the pressure, which she hasn't really needed the encouragement on that. But if you'll notice, as soon as those calves turned to move away from her, she was hot to try to put them back together. And she wasn't moving fast, or she wasn't doing anything wrong. It's just they need to learn to move away from the dog, and that the dog will then leave them alone. They can, so they can feel confident that when they move away, the pressure will be relieved. So what she did was she applied pressure, and then she immediately wanted to go and put them all back together and stop them from leaving. So she wants to push on them to make them leave, stop them from leaving. It's a great quality to have. I would not want to own a dog that did not want to stop movement, but we have to teach our dogs when it's appropriate to do that and when not. So then I would just use the leash and kind of give her some light pops, pressure, and very lightly just say, ah, 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 ah. So just a little correction there to kind of let her know, just stand there, just hold your ground. Now you can use your stand command or your stop command, your down, whatever it is. A lot of people do that. They want to have their dog bite and then lie down, or bite and then stop. That's all well and good, but again, I don't have a solid stop command on her yet. So I'm just going to use the leash and kind of correct her for doing that, and let her know that our goal here is to let these calves move away from her, not for her to immediately go and stop them from moving. calves today. I think it was a fairly good experience. Nobody got rough, nobody got crazy. They walked, they moved off the dog, they didn't have a problem with that. She made her point, I think, on two separate heifers, maybe a third one. So those are probably the two that were least likely to run from me when I came in the pen. They're the more, usually the more friendly the calves are, the more they're going to approach the dog or be curious about the dog. Really flighty animals usually don't approach things that they're not familiar with. There was a good example there of her front foot bite, so she really eyed up on the head of that one animal and then took the front foot bite, and then you could see right after that, so that's the little bit of adrenaline or whatever that kind of comes out in some dogs when they get to bite something. They just like want to move on to the next thing really quickly instead of just pausing and dealing with that and letting everything come down. So that's what the long line was handy for. Definitely something I think that needs to be bred for in the whelping box, but it is something that you can work on in your training. Just doesn't change the genetics of the dog, so just something to keep in mind. But she had a pretty good session. I thought there was one or two times where she kind of got into her moving and not listening, and then I would have to get on to her to be either on the edge of the pen or pay attention to what we're doing and not just go and do what your brain is telling you to do. But it was a good experience for her, good experience for the calves, I thought. Everything looked good, so I'm fairly happy with that session.